How's going on, everybody? It's me, the one that loves cartoons, and in today's video, well, I'm gonna be talking about a cartoon. So I'm gonna review episode 8 of Ninjago Seabound, titled The Tale of Benthomar. So first I'm gonna talk about the plot of the episode, then I'm gonna talk about the stuff that I liked, then the stuff that I didn't like, and then I'm gonna give the episode a score out of 10. So let's review. So the episode starts with Benthomar telling his story to the ninjas, even though they never asked for it. But yeah, whatever. Maybe they did, and it was off screen. So we have a young Calamar asking his father about Wujira, but Trimar keep changing the subject. And then he told him that Wujira is very dangerous. So Calamar asked him if Wujira could be reawakened, but then Trimar saw someone who needed help, and it was a very young child. So he adopted him and named him Benthomar. And then years have passed, and Benthomar wants to play with Calamar, but Calamar doesn't want that. And he also keep reminding him that he's not his brother, he's not his real brother. So Benthomar wanted to be accepted by his brother, so he tried many times until he started losing hope. But Calamar found a scroll that reveals the temple of Wujira. He asked his father about it, but Trimar forbade him to go there. But Calamar wanted to go, so he used Benthomar. So he started apologizing to his brother, and Benthomar was happy. Yeah, like I said, Calamar wanted his brother to help him to find the Temple of Wujira, since Benthomar is a very good swimmer. But then Calamar, when they found the temple, Calamar told him that he doesn't need him anymore, and that he's not his brother. So Bentho was sad, and he left. So after Bentho finished his story, he said that he's all alone, but the ninja said that no, he's not, and that they are his friends. And the episode ends. So let's talk about the stuff that I liked in this episode. So first, I like that we get to learn about Benthomar's origin, and seeing the relation with the young Calamar and his father Trimar in this flashback. I thought it was good. So yeah, I like the relation between the two, especially knowing that Calamar is gonna kill his father later. So yeah, it's something dark for Ninjago, and I like that. And I just liked Benthomar in this episode, and I liked his relation with Calamar, and how Calamar doesn't wanna accept him as his brother. It was kind of sad, with Bentho being rejected over and over again by his brother. And I liked when Calamar used his brother just for selfish reasons. So yeah, and Calamar's obsession over Wujira, I actually liked it. I thought it was good, and I liked how he wants to find her temple because he doesn't want to share the world with the surface dwellers. So yeah, and I was very happy that they didn't use the anime style for this episode, because in almost every flashback episode of Wild Brain Ninjago, they always use the anime style, which I'm not a fan of. We had it in the absolute worst, the Formling Dungeon Party, so I'm very happy that they didn't use it for this flashback episode. So now let's talk about the stuff that I didn't like in this episode. Well, first, this episode does slow down the season, because don't get me wrong, I liked the flashback in this episode, but just looking at how the previous episode ended, with the ninjas going to the island of the keepers, you think that this episode will be about the ninjas going to the island. You think that it will continue right where we left off with episode 7. But instead we had a flashback episode in between. So it does slow the season down. And I feel like we should blame the last scene of the previous episode. I feel like what they should have done is that have episode 7 end with the ninjas asking Bentho about his backstory, and then have it end there. So this episode wouldn't feel forced. And what they should have done in this episode is have the ninjas say at the end of the episode that they're going to the island of the keepers. So yeah, but instead they did that at the end of episode 7, not episode 8. So that's why episode 8 felt a little forced. So yeah, the placement of episode 8 is not that great. Like it's not that great, because I feel like after episode 7 we should have immediately had episode 9. But we had episode 8 in between, and so yeah, I feel like after episode 7 we should have immediately had episode 9, and then they could have found a way to incorporate Benthomar's origin. But yeah, and my other problem in this episode is that the ending of Benthomar's flashback doesn't transition very well to what we saw in episode 5. Because at the end of the flashback, you have Calamar hurting his brother's feelings, and Benthomar was very sad, and he lost hope, and Calamar was even clear about not calling him his brother. So Bentho stopped calling him his brother. But in episode 5, you have Benthomar being very happy when he saw his brother Calamar, instead of being sad, and he was even calling Calamar his brother. even though Calamar made it clear to stop calling him that. And also, why didn't Bentho told his father that Calamar went to the Temple of Ujira and found it? Because even Bentho knew that it was forbidden to go there, because it's very dangerous. So if Bentho told his father about Calamar finding the Temple of Ujira, then none of the stuff in the season would have happened, including his father's death. And also, one problem, and it's that Kai's hairpiece on young Bentho is very disturbing to look at. I mean, they could have used any Lego hairpiece, but instead they decided to use one of the ninja's hairpiece with Kai. So you're telling me that Bentho had that hairstyle before Kai had it? Well, okay. So those are my only problems with this episode, so I'm giving this episode an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was a good episode, not the best, but still enjoyable. So yeah, I really liked this episode. Had some problems with it, but yeah, I think it's a good episode. So, what do you guys think of this episode? Is it a good episode? Is it a bad episode? Is it an okay episode? Just leave your thoughts down in the comments. So if you guys like this video, then give it a like. And if you're not subscribed, then subscribe. It means a lot to me. And turn on the notifications so you'll be the first one to know when I upload a video. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm the one that love this cartoon, and you're the one that love it too.